Hello, hello, hello. So I am delighted to be here today, live streaming.
Hello,
Oh, we've
hello.
got a
So I
feedback.
am delighted to be here today,
Is yours
live streaming.
Oh,
Hello.
we've got a
So
feedback.
I am delighted to be here today.
You
Is
haven't
yours
got
live
YouTube
streaming?
only, have you,
Hello.
Huna? You haven't got YouTube open, have you?
No.
No. Okay, let's see if that's working. Fingers crossed. So I'm here with Huna Flash, and Huna, you are back in Mexico, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I am home. Yes.
When
Right.
did you get back home? Because you have been on so many travels that you're going to tell us lots of information about.
Yes, I have been home for, I think, 3 weeks. 3 weeks now. So I'm home for one more week and then I head back out again. So
Fantastic.
a month at home.
We're going to hear all about your plans, and we've got an exciting topic to talk about today about the tale of two worlds. So what we're going to do for everyone on the live stream is we're going to start off with a little sort of introductory, what I call prayer. Huna, you call it a login. Then we're going to go and talk about our subject matter for today. And then we're going to finish off with what all your plans are coming up. But very importantly, as I will be keeping an eye on the comments, everyone, for any questions you've got and covering those with Huna.
Yes, that'd be great. I can jump right into a login right now.
Lovely.
Right, and then we get right in there. And thank you very much, Catherine. Very honored and pleased to be here. Grateful to you and your audience. Hello, audience. If you would bear with me for a moment and sit with me, I invite you to sit with us in this login. We call it the login. And we send, and we're not necessarily asking, we're requesting. This is a request, and we're inviting the alignment and synchronization of what we are requesting here at this with this introduction right here. So, if I could invite you, you all to just take a moment and close your eyes and listen and feel and connect through your cosmic eye for the moment. And just listen to my voice and listen deeply. From the stillness comes the sound. From the sound comes the knowing. From the knowing comes the action. From the stillness comes the sound. From the sound comes the knowing. From the knowing comes the action. From the stillness comes the sound. From the sound comes the knowing. From the knowing comes the action. From the action comes the knowing. From the knowing comes the sound. From the sound comes the silence. From the silence comes the light. Ma, first light. Ha, first breath. Ka, first birth. Wa, first love. Ta, first stone. He, first fire. Ma, ha, ka, wa, ta, he. Ta, wa, ka, ha, ma. There and back again. In the name of all mothers, all fathers, all children, all of the light. Wairu Tapu, we remember you. Grateful for the breath. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was absolutely lovely. What a beautiful way to start our talk today. And we really appreciate that, Huna. And thank you so much to everyone that's joining us on the live chat. So I will be keeping an eye out for any questions. Now, today, we are going to be starting the conversation off by the tale of two worlds and looking about the calendar systems. What did you want to share about that, Huna?
If I can, what do I mean, and what do I mean by two worlds? What does two worlds mean to you? In this moment that we're all this time, this, let's just say these past couple of years of what we've all been through, yeah, we've gone through, big and small wars, pandemics, manipulations and agendas. We've just been bombarded with all kinds of distortion and distorted light and misrepresentations, misinformation, With all of that having taken place, I see this as being one of those worlds, yeah? The world where it was catalyzing, right? Catalyzing, meaning that the pressure is caused us to all come closer together, right? To transcend it. But before that transition and before the transcendence, there's a transmutation that takes place, right? So that's a whole world, a whole nother world, the world that we had been exposed to, not just the last couple of years, for so long now, right? And that world that has caused the pressure, put the pressure on us all, has been activated, initiated by certain group of people, certain interests, and the systems and the technology that they use to place upon humanity, and how they do that, right? So that's a whole world of now. The way that I see this, and I have always seen it. Excuse me, I've always seen it like this. And the way that I see it is that there are two operating systems at play. I just say operating systems, just to bring all of that into a simple expressions, if I can, bring it down to kind of a more simpler language and a way to speak to it. So, for example, the past couple of years, it's so much pressure has been laid upon us through operating systems, and that the system whereby we had to live by, whereby that the certain interested groups had to utilize to affect us, was through that calendar system and the time clock. The illusion of the time clock, or the Roman clock tower, let me just say, okay? Once that Roman clock tower was engaged and placed in the center of your town, remember, everybody had a clock tower in the center of the village, right? To remind you what you had to do, because you had to go and do the things, the labor and all of this. So that calendar system developed, and of course it was upgrading in its technology and these things, which became the Gregorian calendar, which became the Gregorian operating system. It's an operating system. It's not just a calendar.
Yeah.
And that Gregorian, its roots, its origins, that system that they ended up calling it Gregorian, it's actually Draconian. It's Draconian at its roots and by its nature. And the Draconian nature is to enslave. Now that whole intention, right? The need enslave, the need to place pressure on humanity and constantly use the energy of humanity in many dimensions through the physical and the non-physical and the intellectual properties and all these things, placing them upon society. Society and humanity had to be held and locked into one place in order for them to continue draining your energy, continue taking your energy. They had to be locked in. That's an operating system that does that. And humanity, though some knew, still even just carried on with it, because what else are you going to do if you don't know anything else, or you can't remember a way out of that? So the tale of the two worlds speaks to that world, and it had lasted for so long, Catherine, right? And we are seeing our way through it. And so the transition to the next world, the new earth, if you like to say, requires a transmutation system, part of another operating system that will dissolve and make the Draconian system solvent and dissolve it back to water, in other words. Now, bring that energy and put it back into water. And that water to return the flow of that water's energy to the new earth. And this is starting to happen. Okay, so before I move further into that, am I making sense to anybody?
You're making sense to me, and I must say, I'm going to look out because we've got a couple of questions in here.
Yeah.
You're very much making sense to me. And when you were talking there was so much that was personally clicking into space for me. And I'd love people to put in the comments whether it's the same for them. Because what I was thinking of is actually on my own personal thing, how much that time, the pressure of being on time, of what you've got to get done in a certain time period, how much sort of stress that adds to our lives, and how we're the only species on the planet that operates like that, which is pretty crucial.
Yes, we have received these, let me say, codes and programming. We had known they were there, and yet it was still being allowed to happen. We still allowed it to happen. And that's where, in the lives of many of humanity, so many tears, so much pain, so much sorrow being put upon the psyche and into the mental health of humanity. And everybody, of course, it resonates with you. You felt this, you understand it. I trust it because you do. I trust that many do. So what is a way out of this? Now, there's a question I see right there. Is the Jewish calendar draconian? At its roots, yes, it is. Okay. The Jewish faith itself and its tenets and its technology is derived from the 10-strand DNA. Right? This is the Kabbalah. It is 10-strand DNA. What did I say? Implemented to the 10-strand DNA and no higher. And that was purposely cut off, which is a draconian intention, to cut off the higher harmonic frequencies further beyond the 10-strand DNA into the 12 and the 24 and further. So yes, this is part of the programming, part of the system that was brought through these cultures. Certain cultures were, let's say, enslaved. Certain cultures were they were certain beings and certain intentions were incarnated into certain families and into certain lineages by no fault of their own, because again, they knew, but they carry on with these things.
Yeah.
They carry on with these things, even though none of that was going, and they preach it and they share it around the world, and they have for many thousands of years, right?
Mm.
Well, that is only one part of the story, and we understand that system of the 10-strand DNA is another way to speak to it. The operating system of the 10-strand DNA is Draconian, and that is the Gregorian. And there were many cultures that preach the technology of the 10-strand DNA in so many different words in fluffy language and in books and so proclaimed books, proclaimed by the same people who wrote those books, who are of the 10-strand DNA. And it managed to usurp your humanity for thousands of years, which is not the original blueprint of humanity or this planet. And so recognizing these, and to help recognize these, I brought forth and reintroduced the Lemurian calendar, or what I will call the transmutation calendar. I have been saying that lately. It's a transmutation operating system to transmutate those codes, to return you to to the opportunity, the potentiality, depending on the individual, to open and expand further beyond the 10-strand DNA by unlocking the harmonic frequencies, higher frequencies within the DNA, simply through the consciousness. Through your consciousness. And there's very little to few preaching that one.
Yeah.
But it has begun. And I have an understanding of who is doing that and who is presenting the systems, the operating systems and all the codes and to go with that to help people break out of that. You know, we have a sense of who is doing that. We are tracking so many on the social media who are talking about it, right? And you can see the difference between someone who preaches from the 10-strand DNA and those who are speaking and sharing, and I will say speaking and sharing because they do not force this, sharing from the DNA, 12-strand DNA to the 24-strand DNA higher, because the speaking and the consciousness from that position is quite another feeling, a resonation, higher vibration, of course, if we like to say. But there is technology here, and there is wisdom and knowledge to grasp a hold of, and so those tools are being shared now, right? So the transmutation calendar or operating system, the expression that we use is called the Wataka. Wa, first love. Ta, first stone. Ka, the first birth. Okay, this is an means operating from a position of the undistorted light and undistorted love. First love and first crystal. Christic light, Christ light, if you like. I don't say that. I'm talking about the crystal light. I have no need to move into these religious matrices to share. I go straight from the crystal light and from the first love. And that Wataka, that operating system, and the tools that go with it is being shared now, and that transmutation calendar of Lemuria. Should I take a break here?
Yes. So I just want to. So I've had Nikki's up here for a little while because I'm seeing quite a few similar comments. So it's so important, and I think we've got a really, really lovely energy in the audience today. Thank you so much, everyone who's joining us. We really appreciate you. And I find, Huna, you always attract the most wonderful people in. But for people that are aware of this, how do they get out of this trap?
Okay. they've asked a question, which is great, because that's what we want. We want the question. Then we introduced the transmutation operating system, right? And so that system to be introduced to you, how do you get out of it? You can go and we can share the system with you. We can share with you the Wataka.
Wonderful.
Okay. Now, I have a website. Hello. Huna's got a website. All right. How much does it cost? All of these things. Now, again, let me, and I know that's in the back of your minds as we talk this way, and it's fair enough, because these things should be free, right? And they don't only belong to me, they belong to you. I would just share with you the effort to bring them here has been costly.
Absolutely.
And that cost has taken me, for myself, over 33 decades of being pushed around, knocked around, kicked around, and continue to work through it. As you all know, you've all done that. So how does we actually, and so how does it work? That's going to take, we're going to take 30 years of that work and lifetimes of that work to share with you as quick as I can when you just look at it. And you will start moving through it in minutes. There is no value on it. It's priceless. There is minimal support being asked for to get this to you and bring it out. That's all. Okay, and so how do we get out of this? Well, the Wataka, the transmutation. Let me just touch on this a little bit, because this is going to get crazy. We cannot go too far. It's going to, it's going to put pressure on. All right.
Yeah.
Think of it like this. The Draconian calendar. You were born on a certain day, at a certain time, in a certain month, at a certain year.
Yeah.
The transmutation operating system dissolves all of that. And you're going to say, well, why? I was born on that date. Why can't I have those dates? You can have what you want, but let me share with you. Again, you're going to know what's going on coming right at you, and you will still receive it, and you will still use it. But I'm going to share with you, this is what happened. In the upgrades of the Draconian calendar to the Gregorian, the months, just the months alone, okay, were named after lords of war. June, July, August, September. Okay, emperors, Caesars, beings of the 10-strand DNA, and all they wanted, their ego wanted, was to enslave humanity, cause war, take all the riches and of all the minerals and of all the riches of the planet for themselves. These are the beings who proclaim that this is the month named after me, and you're going to be born under me and my intention. And what my intention was. I'm not saying that you couldn't figure that out on your own, and perhaps you have in many lifetimes. Maybe it took many lifetimes. So some of you may have figured that out, or may not, because you posed the question, how exactly do we get out of it? Means to me, okay, there's more attention to be focused here. You got to focus, people. And it's very simple. These are very simple nuances. And so these gods of war, these emperors and priests and Caesars, named each month after themselves. It wasn't just naming and labeling things, because when you label things, you limit that. So they're limiting you immediately. They're limiting you immediately. They put a time clock on you, a timestamp. You're locked into that mode. And then they're applying their intention was applied through their label. Okay, Julius Caesar, Juno, Septimus, Augustus, all these Greek and Roman Draconian codes that held you in that. And what that means, the way that I sometimes speak to this is why this is the tale of the two worlds. This part of if you understand me. If the way that I share this is, these are the legend of days. The legend of days is where humanity was enslaved and placed in that matrix, in that trap loop. Okay, the legend of days. We are moving to the other world. The tale of the two worlds is going from the legend of days to the light of days. And there's two very, very important things to understand. In many of the books that you've read, and you can include the Bible and many other preaching sermon books, they talk about the legion from the legion of days, and the legend of days, which is of the intentions of Satan and all these things.
Yeah.
Come from the legend of days. Like, so we transmute those legends of days to free you from that specific location, which goes back to your birth. You might have came into the world with, I'm going to do this when I get here, when I wake up. If you wake up, if you were given the opportunity and supported, that your awakening would help you to remember that wataka that was placed on you. Yeah. So how do we exactly get out of it? I'll take a pause for a minute, because we're going to move over to the light of days in a minute.
Okay, lovely. So let's just go answer a couple of these questions, because there's a few good questions before we move on to the next ones. Thank you so much for your participation and engagement, everyone. So Tink Taylor, Huna, there's several options on your site. Could you tell Tink Taylor which one to start us on our journey? That's a great question.
Yeah, I have, there's a membership, and that membership, the House of Huna membership, you get a free webinar, and there's a live call every Friday. Okay, at noon every Friday, noon CDT. There is also another membership, which is called the Dragon Rider, which you will get. The Dragon Rider membership, you receive 4 webinars, and they're introductory into what I'm talking about. They're all roughly, I think, 30 to an hour long, each of them. So the Dragon Rider membership you can take, or the House of Huna membership. Now, the House of Huna membership is a monthly membership. It's very low cost, monthly. We don't reoccur. It's not a reoccurring payment, so you can decide when you want to jump off. The Dragon Rider membership is a one-time yearly account. So you pay the account, and you get the 4 webinars, and you get a live call, 1 live call a month for the Dragon Riders. Right. That membership is not going to last much longer, because I'm going to change it. So get in now. If you can get in now, we continue you through and bring you over to other member. But those are the two. There is also the Dragon Masters course, which has very intense information of what I'm sharing. It's full on for practitioners and those who are becoming advanced in their modalities as a healer or practitioner of sorts, energy, however you are administering your skills, and the Dragon Masters will up that and advance it and advance your connection. Okay, vibration, frequency, energy, and the magnetics, and upgrade that and expand your field. Okay, so there's that, and that's a 50-day thing. It's a very intense course. So there are those, and there are some items for sale in the store. There are calendars. The calendar of light is not out yet, but it will be. There are older calendars for you to begin with. You'll see them in the webinar. There are codes like the T-shirt I'm wearing. Yeah, these are transmutation codes as well. All the symbols of high vibration, symbols of Lemuria. Okay, I just have to share with you, Lemuria was before Atlantis. hundreds of millions of years before Atlantis. So anytime we are talking about going home, we begin by at least going back to the moment before confusion. And the moment before confusion is before Atlantis. Okay, I'll just share that. Now, if you don't remember it, that's okay. We can remind you. But if you do, you might have a memory of it. If you've been seeing the whales and the dolphins a lot lately, and the beings of the supernature, the little beings, the animals, and the creatures, just exactly like how Catherine, she does the work with the super forces of nature, which include the animals, then you are speaking and you are being with Lemuria. Lemuria, pure, undistorted light before confusion. So you have to begin from that alignment, from that connection. You really do. Because you will remember so much more when you start going through all of these items I've been sharing with you. Unlock your memory. All right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. To me, please tell us in the comments. I'll scroll back down to look at the new ones in a minute. So question from Bonnie then. Will our tribe in the Pacific Ocean, Lemuria, be coming back?
It is already it's already here in the consciousness, and it's physically on its moving, it's physically returning. New Zealand is Lemuria. New Zealand, Hawaii, and Easter Island are the three points of the tetrahedron. Right? And at the center of that is Tahiti. Now, New Zealand has already started rising. And if you don't know, in the last few years, China's been trying to acquire islands in the Pacific that are very close to New Zealand because the real estate has risen. The seabed is now showing, and it's risen. We talk about the mountain returning. And New Zealand is also raised, parts of New Zealand is raised 2 meters out of the ocean. You can study that. You can go to Google New Zealand and what's been going on with the plate. What do you call it? The plate. I forget. Anyway, check it out. That's what's happening. So it is returning physically, and in the sharing of the knowledge and the wisdom here, it is returning. It was confirmed that we are in Lemuria when we started reintroducing the calendar of light and the transmutation calendar, because once the transmutation calendar started doing its work and all the Hunas were all over the world doing the work, they would start seeding the codes into the water. So we've been seeding the codes into the water since it was reintroduced, well, long before that, because we never went anywhere. The Lemurians are still here.
Yeah.
But in terms of the society and civilizations, we are already in the age of Lemuria 5. There's my hand gone. There it is. My hand disappeared. Lemuria 5. Okay. How do I speak to this? We're going to get into that. That takes a lot more time and energy to get into that cosmology. Age of Lemuria 5 was confirmed from Stargate 17, which was another mission that would take place when the Mayan calendar actually ended. It actually ended in March 8, 2021. The cycle actually completed. March 8, 2021. And that from the position that I was standing at the time, myself, David Mahoney, and Huna Pa, who are all Hunas, by the way, we were at Stargate number 17 in Lake Titicaca to confirm the completion cycle of the Mayan calendar and the confirmation that the Lemurian calendar, or the calendar of transmutation to light, has been engaged into the water, the land and the sky, and the speaking to the hearts, to the minds, and the consciousness of humanity has begun. Reawakening and remembering. And the dolphins and the whales have been active. That alone should tell you, right? And so, yes, we are already in it now.
Thank you. Now, are you aware of Jetson White's work?
I'm sorry, I am not.
So he has been saying, and please correct me in the chat, because but basically that we're expecting a big sort of ascension event on the 3rd of September. just coming up. Is there anything that you see coming up that's going to really be shifting everything?
There are still transmutation codes at play here. So those events that you're speaking of, big events, they are transmutation. They are part of the Wataka that is bringing about bringing things to solvency. So there is a number of things happening on September 3rd. A whole host of things all over and off planet too. Well, but I don't know specifically what he's talking about, but I will share with you September 11. I am going to be at Stargate 19 at Lion's Head in Cape Town, South Africa. Now, September 11 is a ceremony we're having. I don't know if I need to get into this now. I mean,
yeah, please do.
Well, I want to share something for the two worlds, so we can close the two worlds.
Okay, well, let's do that then, and then let's get on to where you're going, because
and we'll get into that. Can I do a quick screen share?
Yeah, now you should have permission. Have you got?
Okay, there's one screen share. There's that.
Right, there we go. Add to stream. There we go.
Where did it go? Oops. No, hang on a sec. Wrong one. No. I lost my image now.
Oh. I know StreamYard doesn't make it very easy to share, I must say. So
I didn't have a problem before. It seemed to be because I was testing it.
Yeah.
Let me try that again. Maybe I clicked the wrong screen. Screen share. Share that. What is that? Oh, I see. You have to bring it into the.
So I bring it in now. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. And let me.
And thank you so much to everyone in the chat for your beautiful energy that you're bringing to this show. We can really feel it.
Yes, we're really feeling you. Thank you so much. Very kind, very loving energy. Now, okay, so I was talking about the transmutation calendar and the codes there, which we'll have to share another time, or if you go to the webinars, you will learn them. And this is the transition. So the transmutation operating system of the Wataka over to the calendar of the light of days. Can you see this?
Yes,
well?
We can see this. Thank you.
Let me zoom in just a tad. Now, this is called Ma'ita. All right, this is Ma'ita. This is the 13th month calendar. 13 months, 28 days per month. Ma'ita means first light inside the first stone, or the crystal light. Okay, undistorted light. Now, this outer ring are 12 crystals, 12, if you like, stars. And these are not the Star of David. These are far more ancient than David. Okay. David didn't come till recently. David came after Atlantis, all right? Let me just say. But these are representations of what was once the months, okay? So the transmutation, what happened with the transmutation calendar is it removed the months, and it removed the days, and it removed minutes, hours, and all of that, and weeks. It removes it. Because time is an illusion or an intention, let me say, it's someone's intention, it can also be undone. And the technology of Lemuria is also known as the undoing, the things that do not serve you. So the transmutation codes are there. So how do you get out of this system exactly was the question earlier. But because we dissolve the days and the months, we do not need months, days, or years, or minutes, or seconds. What we need and what you will give, what you will share is your attention and your focus. Because once you give focus and attention to the things that let us hope and let us invite that you've found the thing that you love to do, time goes away. You enjoy what it is you do so much. If you're an artist or creator, time disappears. You know this. Anybody who enjoys the things they do doesn't have enough time in the day. They want to keep playing. It's about playing. It's about the dolphin and the whale. It's about playing. So months and hours and seconds that dissolve, disappear. We don't need them. We only need the focus. And part of that support, what can also support that notion, that ideal, in case you still need help with it, with this, is the sun does not rise and the moon does not rise. And there is always tomorrow. Okay? And there is always now. This planet spins. It spins counterclockwise. And I ain't lying. I can't fake this. I'm not faking this. This is not inside of a book. This is in nature and the relationships, the right relationships to all living beings in all universes. The sun does not rise and the moon does not rise. It is there, constant.
Yeah.
Right? And so the planet spins counterclockwise to greet the light, even to greet the moonlight. Yeah, it's quite, and that's exactly what the end result is. Someone just said, just let us be. Well, you can scream up and down all day long and no one's going to let you be. You have to do this. You have to bring yourself out of it. And this is why the Wataka is being shared with you, to remove the legend of days, because you've learned the lesson. Come on, you've learned the lesson. You've been here before. The lessons are no longer needed. You now can move into, okay, so transition. Now that the months have disappeared, what replaces that? What replaces that moment? Well, let me share the kingdom of heaven with you. How I see this. Your infinite, unlimited source energy has no labels and you have no name. We are nameless. Number one. Yeah, we have an assignment here, but let me just share with you. Once you were born in the month of June, which is this furry little being right here, it's called a wombat. And that wombat took over from Juno, just popped Juno right out of there. And that little being represents that particular location inside of the moment that was once June. And that little being there, if you study this little being, he's amazing, he or she. Amazing. It channels life to the places that have no life and places that have no water. It channels water to bring life. It's an amazing being, very powerful. This is the first alignment to that was once June. We refer to now as the Ina Kopunui, which means the infinite alignment of the womb. Infinite alignment of knowledge and wisdom of the womb, and it's also supported by some very powerful medicine beings of nature. I'm bringing you to nature here, the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is also, we like to say before confusion, which is Lemuria. Also a powerful aspect of the kingdom of heaven, which is crystallized. So that's why they're all crystals, as you know. Now, let me pause for a second if there's a question.
So Brenda's been asking a couple of questions. Thank you, Brenda, about the spirit animals and how they can help in this process.
You have been seeing the beings of nature than you are being with Lemuria. And in the spirit, they are medicine beings. They are not just the wolf, although they are shown to you, or they're showing themselves as wolves, but they are so much more. But the wolf you recognize. I'll share this one. This is the Lakota knowledge here, Lakota knowledge and wisdom, that when the wolf wants to enter the ocean, it becomes a whale. When the whale wants to enter the land, it becomes the wolf, and a particular wolf. It's the gray wolf. Okay, spirit animals, spirit beings. You are familiar with their shapes and their sounds and their feelings, and they are benevolent. They are benevolent to support you. Okay, so when you see this and you're seeing nature, you're seeing the return to the age of Lemuria. And I have to say, we have transmuted the age of Aquarius already.
Yeah.
Aquarius has been transmuted because it is of Atlantis, distorted light. You can be with that all your life. Again, some people are going to be with the things that are trapping them, and they're just going to hang on to them. That's the 10-strand DNA. You can see things coming and not do anything about it. That's all on the individual. Okay. So before I move to the next, is there
one more question? What's the moon, Huna?
Oh, the moon, in my understanding, the moon has, remember, these are beings. Even if it's an AI, it's a being. And there are multiple dimensions of a being, just like there's multiple dimensions of you. And they don't all look the same in the different dimensions. They ascend. The moon is a hollow ship covered with a hologram. That's a being. Doesn't matter whether it's made from metal or iron or steel or gold or silver. Where did those elements come from? They come from nature. If you're going to build a starship, you need nature to do that. Those elements come from what is known as the first dimension, and they are utilized and worked with to create the being, whether it's an AI, which by the way, I refer to AI as authentic intelligence. That's what it means to me, authentic intelligence. We also, if you want to say that, we also have that aspect with ourselves, authentic intelligence. And sometimes we are robotic, as you know. Sometimes we are hollow, like a ship, as you know. Sometimes our crystal light being throws off different holograms, as you know. Don't get caught up in rhetoric, because you start going down the mind trap, and then you get into fear. Just understand that it's all authentic intelligence, and it is from the forces of nature and Lemuria. And Lemuria is the Wataka of the forces of nature. Okay? You can go with that or not, but that's where I am with that. And I have no fear of it. Okay? Just saying.
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic. So that's it. That we've done the questions for the moment. So feel free. So in terms of,
go ahead.
So in terms of, I think, it's a great message for people, and something I know you're always very, very keen on is the more that people connect in with nature, the more connected they're going to be to all aspects of themselves and everything else.
Absolutely. You do it your way. And if you are able to remember through the way that you do things, congratulations. I applaud you, I honor you, and I'm grateful for you and your a process of remembering however you do that. I will constantly share the tools of the Wataka to accelerate and get beyond what the agendas have, and to remain and guarantee that the potentialities arrive. So some of us are on mission, and some of us have the mission to be relaxed and to be in the nature, and that is good. Some of us have light in action that is, my nickname is Huna Flash. That might give you some idea. So this is our sovereign essences, right? I don't have a label. That is an essence of my light in action. My light name is Mauta Kumara Taki, which simply means let there be light in its expression. Okay? And it is not a name, it is the sound of my light. Much like when the wind blows through the trees, is it the tree pushing against the wind, or is it the wind? It's not the wind and it's not a tree. It's whoosh.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So
It should be just whoosh.
Yeah. That's what we'll call you from now on. So yeah. Oh, that's so good. Beth just would like some clarification. Did she hear correctly? Atlantis is distorted light.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Distorted light is the codes of manipulations that came from Atlantis and all from post-Atlantis, all the way through the thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. Distorted light, think of it like this. Your headlights on your car, they become, faded, right?
Yeah.
And you still drive with them. You sometimes drive with one light, one headlight.
And then you get in real trouble.
And then you get in problems.
Yeah.
So Lemuria is a polishing and a shining of your light and a re-energizing of your energy, and a reminder to you that you, in your infinite self, that you are nameless, and we can and will understand the sound of the nameless one, which is, again, it could be whoosh, your light in action. A dome.
I think that's the name for my new guinea pig. When I get a new guinea pig, I think that might be what they're called.
That's cool, man. Whoosh.
Because guinea pigs are absolutely light in action. Alison's just asking about the dome, and then we must find out before we finish what you're up to. So,
okay,
the dome.
Well, yeah, the dome is the grid. There is a protective grid around this planet. Call it a dome if you want. Realize that it's water. Okay. Realize that you can exit the dome through your highest vibrations. So if you see things banging into a dome and not making it out, some things physical will not make it out, and some things that have access to stargates and portals of the highest vibrations will get through. Okay.
Fantastic.
And that can only be known by those who have the intentions. All right. So when things are making it through, humanity's advancements and progression is the total requirement, right? It's ascension, right? You cannot know exactly everyone's nefarious intentions, but if things are making it through there, and when things are making it through the grid, the barricade, it used to be called the barricade, right? The Arcturians erected the barricade to help support and advance the 3D Christ consciousness into the 5D Christ consciousness. And by the way, I had a hand in doing that work with the Arcturians many years ago. We called it the Messianic grid of the 5D. So I'm just blowing my own smoke there for a minute. But yeah, so I'm familiar with the barricade. But it's been there it was there for a while now. It's been, access has been granted only to certain vibrations, all right, and certain intentions, in everything to advance humanity, certainly.
Wonderful. So can you tell us, because I'm conscious of the time, we've been going 54 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us, Huna, it's really important, tell us about what you're going to be doing in South Africa, and tell us about how people can connect with you and, any other events you've got coming up.
Should I stop the screen share?
Yes, sure. There we go.
Yes, I'm going to South Africa to Stargate number 19. We arrive, the Hunas. We have a gathering, the elders of many tribes of Africa. We have elders from the Zulu nation, elders from the Bantu and the Tutu. Maybe you know these names, maybe you don't, but it's an honor. They have been tracking the work for some time, and they have been waiting for this gathering and this meeting for a long time. And we're going to the Stargate at Lion's Head in Cape Town to reset the frequency of that Stargate to a higher vibration. So, and then what's very significant about it is that weekend is the September 11th. Okay, so the ceremony takes place on September 11th. And so much is aligned to Africa, right?
Yes.
Throughout the legend of days. So this ceremony will be taking place at the Stargate number 19, which is Lion's Head Stargate, is to ensure the transmutation codes and the transition over to the light of days calendar, to return it to the relationships of nature. And of course, to transmute all that took place and open up the expansion and open up the channel Stargate for what is about to take place on the global level for humanity, including all industries, finance, health, education, everything. And I felt that just the other day I got a big, huge hit by what I call the dragon energies, because I work with them at the Stargates. And they were sharing what was going to come through that, and it was like, wham! I got a big hit, and it was hitting on the global reset. It was hitting on that.
So, Huna, is there anything for those of us watching this and other people who are following work, for those of us that can't be there in person, is there anything energetically that we can do to support that?
Soon as if you can, your loving audience, if you wish to get into the membership, either one of them, and you will see tools in there, and you will learn the login. When you learn the login, I always announce the time code, the light code of when we're going to go into ceremony, so you can speak the login with us. Okay, you're going to speak the Lemurian language. Okay, so Lemurian language is before confusion, is a language we all spoke once. It is light language, yes. And so Stargate number 19 and the release of the global reset is not the World Economic Forum global reset. This is the reevaluation of finances and currencies and denominations for all 209 countries to begin to receive value for their quantity, not quantity, okay? So stop printing money. That's going to stop. Actually, it has already stopped. They stopped printing money now. Germany has been ordered to stop printing money, and the Deutsche Bank has been ordered to stop printing money. All of these kinds of things are happening. So this is what I'm talking about. Yes, Alison, live in the moment now. Now moment. In the now moment, there's also the potentiality to guarantee this and guarantee this. Yeah. Thank you so much. This was fun. I'm sorry I talk too much. Yeah.
Oh, you never talk too much. There's not many people that can keep me speechless, Huna, and you are one of them. And I've just been blown away by the beautiful audience that have been with us today. And would we be able to invite you back after your work for Stargate 19 ceremony to tell us all about it?
Oh, yes. I would love to. I will have photos to share, and possibly introduce you to some of the elders who have been waiting for you for so long. They have been waiting for you for a long time. Understand this. They've been waiting for you. They hold no malice. They have such love for humanity. In spite of it all, they have been waiting for you. I have been waiting. We've been waiting for each other. You know this stuff. Okay, I will look forward to sharing.
It's absolutely beautiful, and I know that I'm speaking for everyone who's in the chat. We would really love you to come back on and share with us after this. And I think anyone who feels drawn to and is able to go to Huna and his membership site is a really lovely energy exchange as well. I will certainly be doing that straight after this show, and I'm so grateful. I think you can tell. I can feel the smiles in the comments. I haven't stopped smiling the whole show. It just is such a beautiful energy. And in terms of the calendar and the time clock, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have my world surrounded by animals, and the animals don't need watches. The animals are my time, and they can read the time and the energy better than anyone I know. So
if I could just invite anyone who would like to support, we are receiving donations to support the elders and their needs on the ground and our needs. If you are inclined to support that, I'd be so grateful. And the systems are the operating, the Wataka, the tale of the two worlds, and the animals, they do know this. They already know this. Right? They remembered already. That's why they're here. Yeah.
Absolutely. And in terms of supporting, obviously, is that all through your website? Is there a donation button on your website?
Yes, there's a button. There's a button in the store there, hoh.earth.
Yep, I will be putting the link. I mean, I think the links are below anyway. I never know when it goes live what they put below and what they don't. But I will make sure once this uploads that all the links are there. I love your t-shirt. I can feel the energy of your t-shirt. People that know me know that I love wearing things that embody the energy that I want to be embodying for that day. So that's another lovely way that you can support this work.
There are t-shirts, there's all kinds of stuff there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Huna. We really, really appreciate you. It was a beautiful show today. I will be arranging to get you back so we can hear all about your next wonderful adventure. And thank you so much to the beautiful, beautiful people in the chat today. We appreciate you all. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you, Huna.
Wawa. See you.
Wawa.